What's going on, everyone? I want to give a quick update on NZUSD. If you remember, we have been talking about this particular pair for a couple of weeks now. And as always, I wanted you guys to do one thing before we get started, and that's just like this video. Not only does it support us, but it gives others the opportunity to see this video as well. There's more than enough money for the Forex market. No need to be greedy. Do us, everyone else, a favor, like this video, and we can get straight into it. So, if you remember, we had already done the analysis on this from the monthly and weekly. Basically, we had identified this nice little channel. Obviously, this was just a lot of movement going on because of COVID, but it's still kind of aligned with our channel itself. We ended up having a major correction coming up and then trading back above it, with the only thing that was going on right here was just this candle that was immediately rejected on the following candle on the weekly time frame. But what we had identified is a potential area for us to look for some shorting opportunities. But now we are actually in the midst of a valid setup. So as you can see here on the daily time frame, let's see, might be able to zoom this in a little bit better for you, just to give you guys a better understanding of what I see. So let's move this out a little bit. I'm actually going to make this invisible for a second. So the way I had proposed about setting this up was, because we were testing this descending trend line, it would be a good opportunity for us to actually get in. Now, if we actually look at structural areas, we can see some significant zones happening where price is at currently. And that's why I was saying let's look for some setups if we can break through in particular this area of structural resistance right here, which we did end up breaking through. But now we actually have an opportunity for us to come in on a proper trade, because we do have confirmation that we are in a downward movement now, not only because we're trading and respected this descending trend line, but because we're also respecting structural support on this daily time frame as well. So let's just explain a little bit more what I'm talking about right here. And that's why we're actually in a very critical zone right now currently, with price being right here. So we want to monitor this, and if you can, monitor it for the next couple of hours, because we could be seeing some tremendous movement happening right here. Now, like I said, we want to be trading below and break through this area of structure, because we got initiated, and then with some consolidation we tested it right here, and we actually tested it once more with this wick, and ended up getting some more consolidation right here. So this area of structure was significant. The fact we broke through and we traded through not only once we broke through here, but we also made another lower low right here, which was lower than this previous low as well. So because of those two instances, we were able to validate that we actually broke through, and we're starting to see a pivot point on this channel from the weekly and monthly time frame, and we're getting ready to look for shorts. Now, in this area specifically, we can see that we initiated this area of structure. Actually, if we bring it a little bit more back, oops, excuse me. If we bring it a little bit further back, we can see that it did end up having some significance here as well. But more importantly, we initiated it, tested, and then we ended up turning it from support back to resistance right here. And that's where we're currently trading at right now, in this little area, this little channel right here. So as you can see, we are in this area where it could be potentially resistance once more. We have the possibility of an ABCD pattern. So that means if it does come down here, we could see another spike up. But even if it continues up, we get a W pattern formation, which is another valid pattern for it to be shorting. So basically what I'm saying right here is, because where price is at currently, we are in the midst of a valid setup. We did end up breaking through structural lows, which is telling us that we are in fact in a downtrend, and we ended up respecting this descending trend line on the weekly and the monthly daily time frame as well, as you can see here, both once and then twice. Technically, we can consider that as well, but more significantly, we once and twice here on the weekly time frame, or sorry, daily time frame. So we respected this descending trend line. We broke through structural lows on the daily time frame. We broke through a significant structural resistance zone on the daily time frame. We made another low, and now we are back up testing this critical area of structure right here. And if we could end up respecting it on a confirmation candle, either on the 4 hour, and I would prefer a daily candle, but once again, I'm traveling abroad, so I'm a little bit more restricted on my internet service as I'm out. And if we can end up respecting this area with a confirmation candle, then we would be looking for a valid entry for this particular pair. So this is NZUSD. I had already done analysis on this trade. So if you want to figure out why I ended up picking out this being from an idea to a setup, please go check out that video in the past. Unfortunately, I can't link it to you guys, but let's see. Let's go back to where we were at. Okay. Let's see if we could see any other validation on the different time frames. It's a weekly leg. And that's lining up with the 50%, that area where we're at currently, which is that area of structure. So it's another critical fib level for us to be looking at. I'm going to delete that, and then let's go to the 4 hour and just kind of see what we're looking at here. Let's put up that channel once more, real quick. And let's go to the 4 hour. Let's see if there's anything interesting going on here. Now we can see we got a lot of bullish momentum happening with this candle, but we're still trading below this area of structure right here. We don't have any particular pattern going on right now that I can really see. We did have an impulse pattern to the downside, and we're making a retracement back up here. It's probably gonna be like the 78%. And so this is aligning once again with another fib level. Literally candle close right below that 78% fib level, and that's inside this daily structural zone. So we do have some confluence both on the higher time frames, and now we're starting to get validation on these lower time frames as well. So be sure to monitor price in this particular area, because we are in the midst of getting ready for a particular, or for a pretty valid short opportunity. So once more, this is NZUSD. If you guys want to get a full analysis breakdown on why I decided to, like I said, turn this from an idea into something that we can actually validate with as a trade, please go check out that video as well. In the meantime, let's keep monitoring price where it's at currently, because we are still looking at it being a valid opportunity for us to make some good money. So we're just going to readjust these parameters real quick. Let's go back to the daily. Honestly, where price is at now is ideal entry zones for where we would want it to be anyway, so it's perfect. And we're just going to put this slightly above this trend line and this last candle high. And that's going to give us a 1 to 4.5 risk reward ratio on this particular pair. So this one is not necessarily an analysis on setting up the trade idea itself, but more an analysis on how we look for entries. So we're just going down to the lower time frames after we validate an idea, and then we're going to be looking at validating that particular idea so we can get some good entries. Because even with the best setup, if you don't have a valid entry parameters, it doesn't really matter, and you're likely just still gambling at that point without a strategy for entering a trade, even if you have a good setup for finding setups themselves, or sorry, a good process for finding setups themselves. So entries are extremely important with this situation. We have our TP1 right here, which even if we hit TP1 and move it up, that's still a 1, 2, 3 basically. But I want to be testing this area down here, this trend line, and the way we're going to do that is simply just by creating a trailing stop manually. So every either 4 hours or on the daily time frame, we're going to be readjusting our stop loss so that we can continually let it run. There's no point in letting or closing out a trade manually, even if it hits a take profit area, if there's still momentum for it going in that direction. So That's why I wanted to reach this trend line once more and test it. Otherwise, even if you were at this level, you're still at a break even. So it wouldn't necessarily matter for you if you did let it run its course and didn't end up closing it manually at that TP1. So TP1's right here because of the major structural support zone. We're in an area for us to be looking for some shorts, and that is NZUSD. So hopefully you guys found this useful and you guys are learning on how to properly execute trades, not only from finding an idea and turning that into a valid setup, but also validating that setup and looking for proper execution when entering a trade. So this is NZUSD. Hopefully you guys found this useful. Hopefully you guys are taking advantage of these ideas, setups, and getting some pips as well. Comment down the pips that you guys are taking from these trades if you guys are taking these trades at all. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.